I was telling, I'm not an engineer. I am an architect, but I don't do the architect. I'm not practicing as an architect. I'm a designer. And my specialty is human-centered design. Today, I will talk about the human aspects and human factors in the Inception project, and how we use the methodology of human-centered design to develop the interface of the Inception project. The main point, the focus, is the accessibility. Accessibility is one of the aim of the Inception project, to create an inclusive database that could be shared with all the citizens of the European community, not regarding their profession or their knowledge or ability to understand what they are. 20 years ago, Jeremy Rifkin, a futurologist, and wrote the book, The Era of Access, talking about a new market based on paper experience method. And I must say, we are fully in an access era, where if you don't have access to services and goods, you are cut away from the society. And access means a lot of things. We will see what in our case it means. This is the agenda, a very simple agenda. Cultural heritage is a public good, it's a public tool, it's a public opportunity to increase quality and knowledge of all the society. And it should be, the access should be granted to everyone. But we know there are a lot of barriers that prevent people to access to cultural heritage. The barriers are not only physical. As you can see, we know who was this man perfectly. Everybody knows him. He has trouble, issues about physical accessibility to everything. He has no issues about cognitive accessibility to everything. And the book he wrote are a limit, a barrier for many of us. We don't understand completely what he wrote in his books. And so accessibility is always a matter of condition. Self-condition and contact condition. Another nice thing in this picture is that we have cultural heritage all around him. And that is clearly not accessible. No? There are some human intervention, modern human intervention, that let the wheelchair then go inside the buildings. We can imagine stairs, narrow doors, and all other kind of barriers prevent him to go inside. It's not a strange thing, because our cultural heritage is in a great part made in centuries where buildings were made to keep people away from them, to defend from the enemies, not to be easy to be accessed. So nowadays we would like to make it public and open to everyone, but it's not in their nature. They are not conceived to let all the people in. I was telling, Jeremy Rifkin was talking about the era of access. He couldn't figure in 2000 that the access was not too good, was not too concrete things. We can now grant access to data. The big part of the goods and services that are shared everywhere and every time during the contemporary times are based on data sharing. And data weighs less than atoms. Bit weighs less than atoms, requires less energy to be exchanged. And what we are able to grant to everyone is the access to data. Data is an opportunity to make inclusive services, even if they scare us because they make us feel to be kept under control through data collection and management. Data have associated to IoT, artificial intelligence, cloud computing, and et cetera, to personalize services on the issues of everyone. And so make it accessible, even in a building that is not made to be accessible, even if not through a physical visit. What I'm saying is at the base of one of the most important instruments that we have for designing and conceiving accessible goods and services. That is the ICF, International Classification of Functionality, Disability and Health, made by the WHO, the World Health Organization. It's based on a concept that every one of us is disabled according to the place and the times he lives in. Yes, it's of course a matter of our physical condition, but with the same physical condition, two different persons have different disabilities according to where they live. A clear example about this is the teletext. That is a very, very simple technology that changed the lives of deaf people where it is available. Because if you have teletext in your TV, you have subtitles. Now it's very common for us, but not all over the world it is available. In the countries where subtitles are available, deaf people can still watch television with their family and have not much trouble. Where they are not available, they are cut off from enjoying simple TV movies or TV shows with their family. As I told you, Inception has the objective to make cultural heritage more accessible to everyone. So we applied all the tools that we know as designers that are part of the team of experts, that researchers or workers, designers that have worked on the Inception project to increase the opportunity of the overall setup of the Inception platform and of the interface to increase the total quantity of users involved in the process. We applied the human-centered design process. That is a good system to involve people in the development of a project that is applied in every field of design, and so it's good even for engineering. And it's usually divided in five phases. The first one is empathy. Put yourself in the shoes of the other people, understand their needs, their behaviors, their fears, their desires. Usually observing them, also living with them, and then trying to make sense of what we have observed. Making sense is a very important thing. The difference between technology and inventions and innovations is in making sense. Innovation is an invention that makes sense for someone, at least for one person. Technology and invention do not need to make sense for human people. There are a lot of technologies, even in data management, that are not considered for human persons. All the data exchanging between machines, the Internet of Machines, has no deal with humans. And the language that is spoken in this exchange of data is not understandable by humans. If you want to use data to change the quality of life of humankind, you have to translate it in terms that are enjoyable, entertaining, involving for them, not only understandable. The best system to do that is to let people design their interfaces. Involve them in the design process, not just observe them and provide solutions, but let them practice with your suggestion and modify them. Give them enabling tools to participate to design. We did that. We did that with, since the Inception platform is a multi-stakeholder, multi-user public platform that is a nightmare for a designer because you cannot describe a single user. It is made for everyone. That means it should be usable by everyone. And every designer knows that it is impossible. So you have to decide what kind of users, the less possible, you have to exclude from that. But you must be conscious about that. We made this using tools for the inclusion of people in a process that is very technical, like defining the interface of a platform like this one, that are based on a graphic language and are made of concrete stuff that people can manage with no skills, not peculiar skills, and using just the hands and talking. Some of them are here. One has participated to one of these workshops. And as you can see, was very visual. And we started letting people talk with each other and putting on the paper the needs they think they have about the Inception platform as it was in that moment in a very rough prototype. After that, we talked about the needs and separated them in timelines. And so it allowed us to make a user experience journey map with different phases that provided different tools for different scopes and aims. According to the necessity of the many stakeholders, there are more or less 40 stakeholders involved in the process. After this first workshop, we had a complete tool, of a list of needs and hypotheses, a layout of solution about the journey map, and that made us possible to create a rough prototype of the interface to present in another workshop afterwards to other stakeholders. Some of them participated to both the co-design workshop. This time in the shape of a questionnaire that was presenting all the solution in a graphic language, very simple to understand, and provided the opportunity of expressing the agreement or disagreement about the solution. And that gave us a clear, even if limited to 40 stakeholders, vision about what was the line of development that was preferred by the person according to the graphic interface and the layout of the tools in the platform. And after that, we also provided other kind of paper sorting and concrete tools to suggest new solution to the layout. At this moment, we have implemented the suggestion of the second workshop in a final prototype for the final delivery of the project. Of course, Inception is a crowdsourced platform whose success depends on how many people participate to the platform and on how many data are exchanged by people for people. That is the reason, the main reason why, not only for a humanistic sense of generosity, but also from an egoistic sense of success, that we must provide a joyful and entertaining and involving environment for the users. The clearest example that comes to my mind is YouTube. YouTube is a platform, crowd-shared, that provides no context else than the one that is uploaded by the consumers, by the users. And the users enjoy it because it represents them and provide an enjoyable environment where to share, even if they are haters and share hating contents. But in our case, Inception will not be open completely. There will be a phase of selection of the contents and assessment of the contents. But however, it is a pretty open platform. So the terms of accessibility, I must point out that are not simply responding completely to the norms and regulation that grant the accessibility on the web. Now, we all know the rules of accessibility for the web, but they are not enough. It's not just a matter of usability, readability, operability. It's a matter of a platform that is able to satisfy, gratify, and make people feel a sense of self-realization, self-improvement using it. For doing that, co-design and human-centered design is a very powerful tool because it allows people to interact even during the design phase. And it increases, for example, the awareness of the value of this platform. Now the stakeholders are more aware about the sense of the platform, and this is part of the process of sense-making involving people. And we have a direct insight about the kind of barrier that prevent people to use a platform like this one, according to their different mindset and behaviors. And we have figured out several UX patterns that are not based on our culture or fantasy, but are based on the interaction with real people. We also had explicit feedback about solutions that prevented us to make great errors and showed us what are the lines of development for the future release of the platform. That is conceived as an instrument that can be updated continuously according to the behaviors and interaction with the users. This is a recommendation that I give to all the designers for everything that is conceived to be of public use. Don't design for the user based on your vision of what are the needs of the users. Design with them. They always have something to teach to designers. Thank you.